Hello everyone, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense. Welcome to today's video. Really excited to bring you a fragrance haul today because it encompasses a single designer house. Been wanting to do that for a while. Today we're going to be talking about Alfred Dunhill releases. So when we come back, we're going to talk about which ones are better than the other, where you might be able to find them, how much they are, that and more when we return, so stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. Today, again, excited. We've got Alfred Dunhill, we've got Icon, Icon Absolute, Icon Elite, Icon Racing, and we've got Century and Century Blue. I think those are all in chronological order. So again, they go back as far as 2015. In fact, the very first Alfred Dunhill fragrance we're going to take a look at is Icon. Dunhill Icon was originally released and launched in 2015 from the nose of Carlos Benem. I can't really do an actual visual unboxing, as it were, because it's just the protective tester box. Look beyond that and we'll go kind of straight to the actual presentation of the bottle. Let's go ahead and take a look at the presentation of Alfred Dunhill Icon. One thing that you're going to notice right away if you have this or if you purchase this fragrance, it is extremely heavy. So this is all glass and metal, a little bit of plastic. That's what gives it its heft and its weight. I like that fact. It feels really hefty, really good and heavy and substantial in your hand. So looks good, feels good, looks good on the shelf beside your other fragrances, and it's kind of a nice silver color as well. You might think that it is gold until you actually look at Icon Absolute, which is actually gold, and then you realize this is actually silver. I can still smell this in the air from where I sprayed it for the presentation, but I'm going to go ahead and spray some on a tester strip. Now, Icon is the original Icon Pillar fragrance. Of course, it spawned 3 other flankers, but a lot of people stand by Icon as being the best. I was thinking today, flankers are a little bit like, I really like EDM, electronic dance music. I was thinking today that flankers are similar to remixes in a way. So for example, a song will be released and then someone like a producer like Seven Lions will get a hold of it and he'll add to it or do his version of it. That's sort of what a flanker is. So the neat thing about that, like sometimes flankers are completely different, and so it's not like a derivative version of the same song. But a lot of times you've got that pillar fragrance, that DNA, especially if it's super popular and very well done, it will be duplicated in the flanker with a little bit of spin on it, like a producer's own spin. A perfumist is very much like a producer in that they're messing with a few things, in this case, you know, smells instead of sounds, and they produce a very melodic flanker. Icon itself is a wonderfully bright yet also earthy and pungent neroli fragrance. So let's take a look at the notes in Alfred Dunhill's Icon. In the top, you've got Italian bergamot, you've got neroli absolute, black pepper, and petitgrain. In the mid, you've got cardamom, provincial lavender, sage, and juniper berry. In the base, you've got iris, oud, leather, vetiver, and oak moss. The note trifecta, meaning the 3 prominent notes that most people pick out in Alfred Dunhill Icon, are neroli, bergamot, and black pepper. It's a fantastic spring and summer fragrance because neroli is a flower that blooms. It is wonderful in either season, but it's also one of those that you can also feel comfortable wearing in cooler weather, fall going into winter as well. So Icon is a year-round fragrance. It is casual, but you can dress it up. It's great for day and nighttime wear. You can get a 100 ml bottle like this for around 43 bucks on most online discounters. The next fragrance we're going to take a look at is Alfred Dunhill's Icon Absolute. And yes, I fell prey to another tester. I just really like the pricing of testers. Sometimes you can get like between a $10 to $15 difference, and really you're getting a box that's still protective, you're still getting a lid, and you're saving money. So it's a great way to go. I highly recommend it. Icon Absolute is also from the nose of Carlos Benem. It did come out in 2015 as well as Icon. And it is also, and I failed to mention, Icon itself is an eau de parfum. This is also an eau de parfum. Let's take a look at that presentation. Oh man, that is so wonderful. I really, really like this. This I'm actually looking forward to wearing and experimenting with in terms of wearing it on my skin. I'm curious as to what direction it will go in. I feel like it will go a lot darker than it will on the tester strip. Now, what's interesting about this, and I mentioned earlier that once you saw this in comparison with Icon, that you would see that this is gold and this is silver. Although this is kind of a really light gold, you could even say that would be appropriate. So while Absolute has a similar DNA to the Icon Pillar fragrance, where it diverges is in the oud. So this is an oud-based fragrance. So let's go over the note breakdown. In the top, you've got two notes. You've got Sicilian bergamot and black pepper. In the mid, you've got Egyptian jasmine, black rose, and saffron, nestled in a wonderfully blended base of oud, tobacco leaves, and Tuscan leather. It's really hard for a lot of perfumists to get oud right. Oud is either kind of fecal, animalic, and challenging, or it's so light as to not even be oud. You didn't recognize the agar wood in this, the oud in it. This is not a young man's fragrance. It doesn't have like a youthful energy or youthful vibe to it. It is a very stately, mature man's fragrance. It is great for casual wear at the office or anywhere you want to go. Due to the way the oud is presented, this dresses up very nicely. It's going to be perfect for fall and winter weather because of those darker elements in the fragrance, but because it's also a very mature and stately and refined and curated fragrance as well, you can use it year-round. You can use it in spring and summer. I'll definitely be wearing it this summer more to get a better feel for it, and then I'll give you an actual full review of Icon Absolute. Icon Absolute is a little bit more costly than its predecessor Icon. You can get this for about $54, 100ml bottle, eau de parfum online. Well, a year went by, and in 2016, Icon Elite was launched from the nose of Jean-Claude Delville and Benoît Lapouza. And this time around, I went ahead and splurged for the manufacturer's box instead of the tester. So let's take a look at that presentation. Develop any kind of idea. I don't know what to expect. I don't have any forethought in terms or experience in terms of Icon Elite. So let's go ahead and test it out on a tester strip and see what our nose thinks. Because Absolute was more similar than dissimilar from Icon, I feel like this is going to be the greatest departure from the Pillar fragrance in terms of that Icon DNA. So let's give it a shot there. I will say a ton of juice comes out of these, so it's pretty awesome. Okay, so this is going to be the Elite Blue Flanker. This is going to be the blue fragrance flanker because that's what I'm getting in this. There's something about the Icon line though that it's almost like they're trying to avoid the clubbing crowd. It still has that kind of that DNA in it as well, that familiarity from the Pillar fragrance, but it's a very blue, freshy take on that DNA. Let's talk a little bit about the note breakdown in Icon Elite. In the top, you've got bergamot, you've got kaffir lime, you've got cardamom, you've got Sicilian bitter orange. So it's very fruity. In the mid, you've got blue sage, you've got juniper, black pepper, and vetiver absolute. In the base, you've got ebony, labdanum, sandalwood, and black suede. I don't think it's going to be one of those you can appropriately try on a tester strip. I'm gonna go ahead and spray on skin. Whoa. All right, due to cinematic magic, I did actually pause the video for a few minutes. I let this dry down because I wanted to kind of get an idea of where it was going to go. So far, Icon Elite is the least impressive of the flankers, of Icon flankers, in my estimation. It has some legs that it's growing. I probably need to wait a little bit longer. I waited about 15 minutes to kind of get an idea of where it was going to go, what direction it was heading, so that I could give you some idea. But honestly, it's really just kind of a fresh, mature man's blue fragrance. The note trifecta in this is going to be ebony, sandalwood, and cardamom. You can definitely kind of get those working together, and ebony being like a dark wood. The dark wood elements in Elite make it feel a little bit more refined, but also makes it feel a little bit more mature. It's not going to be an energetic, go-getter, dumb grab, easy reach kind of fragrance that you want to look forward to wearing in the summertime. This to me is one of those fragrances that you want to look for a specific kind of formal or semi-formal situation to actually wear. I just can't think of a time or situation where I would love to use this consistently. So another year went by, it's now 2017. Another flanker comes out, and that is Icon Racing. This is from the nose of perfumist Laurent Laguernier, and it is the last, so far anyway, of the Icon flanker line. Who knows, maybe something will come out in 2020, but right now, this is the last guy. So let's take a look at that presentation. From the note breakdown, I feel like I'm gonna like this maybe better than all of them, if not equally as well as Icon, because I really like some of the note listing. And if it's blended the way I hope that they're blending it and the way that I'm kind of smelling it in the air right now from that presentation, I think I'm gonna really like where this is heading. Now earlier I mentioned with Icon Elite that it wasn't gonna be for the younger crowd. It doesn't have that pulsating energy that a lot of younger guys are looking for. Racing is appropriately named. This definitely does have that invigorating, that vibe, that energy, and that vigor and vim that all of us are looking for, but it's specifically the younger crowd. So let's go ahead and get to that juice and test it out on the tester strip. One thing I like about the presentation, I've already shown you this, but yay, racing stripes, a little Italian racing car. All right, so right away, experience will probably tell you as well, if you've never smelled this and you get your nose on it, that you're in for a treat. Automatically you like it, like right away. The introduction is great. Let's go over the note breakdown in Icon Racing. In the top, you've got bergamot, grapefruit, and cardamom. In the mid, you've got orange blossom, lavender, and black pepper, resting on a base of guaiac wood, vetiver, and musk. The note trifecta in Icon Racing is grapefruit, orange blossom, and lavender. So what makes this so energetic and smells so good and vibes so well? Well, it's actually the blend. Like looking at the notes, you've got some fruits in there, you've got some woods, and you've got one of my favorite notes in anything that adds a level of light, dryness, brightness. It's like bottled sunshine and elegance, vetiver, that gives it a level of sophistication. That coupled with the lavender, the orange blossom, makes this an extremely wonderful spring and summertime fragrance. So you got the woody from the guaiac wood, you've got the musk that darkens it up, and you've got that light, dry elegance from the vetiver, and then you've got your fruits that add that sweetness and that brightness to it. It's a near pitch perfect summertime blend. Other than being flankers, another quality that these all have in common is that they are eau de parfum. So Racing is eau de parfum concentration as well. So a few sprays are gonna be able to do it for you typically. Hopefully this is gonna have great longevity. I can already tell it's got really good projection. I mean, I could tell, like it's still in the air from when I sprayed the sprays during the presentation and on the strip. I have a hunch, I have an intuition that this is gonna be, that all of these are gonna be above average in their performance. And that's always a bonus in my book. Okay, another year has gone by. We're now in 2018, and Carlos Benem says, I want to try something different. Thus came Century. Century is also an eau de parfum concentration. As you can tell, it's in a square box, almost perfectly square. And so the presentation is going to be a lot different than the Icon line. Let's go ahead and take a look at that presentation. Now, as you could probably tell from the presentation, Dunhill Century has a magnetic lid, and that's always a bonus in my book. I always enjoy when the lid pops right on with a kind of a satisfying click, and it just makes it look really uniform and nice and adds a little bit level of sophistication to the fragrance that might not otherwise be there. It's a very modernistic, I don't know why, it makes me think of some kind of structure that you would see sitting in the middle of a commons area in a city or something. Some kind of artistic glass structure. Century does make me think that's a time, part of our circadian rhythm, maybe, talking about time passing. So maybe this is like the Tesseract or something, who knows. So I like the presentation, thumbs up for using magnetic lid. Let's go ahead and give it a try on a tester strip. Automatically see sunshine. It's got a lemon verbena, a grassy feel to it. Oh yeah, it's almost like a somewhat simple, somewhat linear, but very stately and modern, bright spring and summer fragrance. Definitely not wintertime. This is definitely a warm weather fragrance, possibly even a high heat fragrance. It's that bright. Let's take a look at those notes, and that'll give us a clue as to what we're smelling. In the top, you've got bergamot, grapefruit, and mandarin orange. In the mid, you've got neroli, cardamom, and olibanum, sitting on a base of sandalwood, musk, and cypriol oil. Now the note trifecta in this is going to be the nagarmatha, which is cypriol oil, the neroli, and then the sandalwood. So you've got sandalwood in the base. It's giving you a kind of a woody masculine sensibility. Sandalwood is probably one of the brightest of the woods, so it's appropriate that it's in this fragrance. This is a very kind of a rich, ritzy, bright summertime fragrance. This is very elegant. This would be something that you could very easily dress up. This would be perfect to wear to the office, would be perfect to wear on a job interview. If I smelled someone wearing this across from me, I would be duly impressed. So it's a very rich, creamy, bright, sunny, and nearly effervescent summer fragrance. A year later, in 2019, Century Blue. Now, blue fragrances always get a bad rap because they're so derivative or generic, or just the same as every other blue fragrance out there. Maybe there'll be something different about Century's Blue. So let's take a look at that presentation first. So the presentation to Century Blue is exactly the same as Century. Same shape, glass flacon, same magnetic lid, same look, same everything. The only thing that's different is basically the name. And the namesake, also you see the tinge, light blue fragrance, so we know this is going to be a blue, fresh spring and summer fragrance. Let's go ahead and get our nose on it and see how different it actually is. So again, to remind you, all 6 of these Alfred Dunhill fragrances are eau de parfum concentration, including Century Blue. I'm not sure that I like the atomizer. It sprays not very far, but super wide. So you're gonna have to get this pretty close to your skin. It wasn't like that on Century, at least that I can recall. I'm not sure why Century Blue would be any different unless they just changed the atomizer between manufacturing of the fragrance itself. Okay. It's pleasant. It's pleasant. I mean, I think I just said it. It's a blue fragrance. It's a pleasant blue fragrance. The only thing that would set this apart from other blue fragrances would be its performance, and unfortunately that's the very thing that I can't really speak to because this is a first impression video. So it does, I am getting a kind of a rich, deep, aquatic blue to this, so it's very pleasant. I really do like it. It's just not going anywhere different than what I've smelled before. So this seems to be a little bit generic, a little bit derivative. It is just a basic blue fragrance. The only reason that I might purchase this is because it is an eau de parfum. If the performance is beastly, that would be a reason for having this. Not a ton of blue fragrances are beastly. They often do lack in the performance area, so that might be the reason to check this out, but I'll have to give you a full review on this to let you know. Let me get the lid back on here. To let you know how that actually is going to be. If it's going to be a beast, a banger, that would be wonderful. That would be great. That would set it apart as different. But right now, to my nose, it's just a basic clean, fresh, somewhat shower gel derivative blue fragrance. So Century Blue, just something to have, flanker to Century. I definitely like Century a lot better. Well guys, that's it. Thank you so much for taking time and watching me as I went through each one of these 6 fragrances, the Icon line and the Century line from Alfred Dunhill. Are they worth owning? Right now, I would say absolutely, at the price that you can get them. Now Century is about 34 bucks and Century Blue is about 36, and this is the online discounter price that I'm quoting you. Oddly enough, Century Blue is a little bit more, but I like Century better. So if you're going to choose between the two and not get both, which again, I recommend getting both, then I would go for Century. Out of the Icon line, absolutely you want to own the Pillar Fragrance Icon, hands down, without even questioning it. Definitely get yourself Icon if you don't already have it. If you don't have Icon Racing, I would highly recommend getting that. Icon Absolute is a must-have. Icon Elite, can kind of take it or leave it. I like it, it's good. All of them I really like. Icon, Icon Racing, Icon Absolute, and Century. Those are the 4 that are my favorite out of these 6. If you haven't entered my giveaway, make sure to go to the Go Green. I'll leave a link up here. Make sure to go to the Go Green video and put down how many years, how many months, or how many weeks, or how many days that you've been into collecting, being a part of, or wearing men's fragrance. All you gotta do is put down a number and you're entered to win Uomo's Zegna, which is a 30 ml bottle you can take pretty much anywhere you want to go. Thank you so much for participating, watching today, and as always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you next time.